Welcome to Recovering Out Loud podcast with your hosts Anthony and Caleb. The opinions expressed here are those of the individuals and not of any organization. Please help support the show by donating in the link. Enjoy the show. Okay.
Good?
Now welcome back.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Hope y'all enjoying that crappy Canadian weather right now. It's absolutely nonsense. But yeah, we'll start off. Let's start off with a check-in. Anthony, tell me how you're doing, and be honest. Tell me how you were doing, brother.
This morning I wasn't doing so good, but I'm doing better now. How am I feeling? Let's think. How am I feeling? I feel grateful, connected. I feel more, I don't know. This is always such a hard question, man. Like,
Yeah.
you know, we spend so little time thinking about how we're actually feeling, right? And it's so easy to just be like, rub some dirt on it, or, you know, move on, or I'm fine, right? The famous one, I'm fine. I'm feeling grateful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, grateful that I'm sober, and I didn't think about drugs and alcohol today, which is cool. You know, that's a miracle in itself, because I spent a lot of time thinking about that. And things just get better, you know. I spent a lot of time in my head today, and I just did this thing where I started like reframing how I looked at things and looking at it in a different light. You know, I don't have to do life today. I get to do life today. Like, things like that. I don't have to look for a job. I get to look for a job. You know, I don't have to work out. I get to work out.
Yeah. That's true, man.
What about you?
Honestly, I don't know what it was. So I started a new job. This was my second weekend, and the first weekend, I don't know. Like, I'm getting to the point where I'm getting a bit more tired and stuff now. So like this weekend flew by, and I didn't even do a whole lot. Like, I watched hockey on Sunday, and besides that, I kind of just relaxed, kicked it back a little bit, watched the college basketball games that are on right now. But I'm getting a bit tired. You know, I'm doing a lot of thinking right now. There's a job opportunity, a couple job opportunities that are arising. Yeah. Good money. I'm trying to make I have like kind of some plans I'm thinking about, business plans for the future. And to get to that plan, I need to save up some money, right? So like, I'm just trying not to get too caught up in rushing things.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, right? Because I want things to happen like tomorrow, right? And you know, when you rush things, you make the wrong decisions, right? So I'm trying to really think things through. I'm trying to talk to people about it. You know, I reached out to my parents. I reached out to some friends. I talked quite a bit with an uncle yesterday about it, and you know, just receiving, you know, a bunch of different advice.
Different perspectives,
right? Because I always go back to the thought of like where my perspective got me on things, where my first thought got me on things. Wasn't like all my choices were bad, but like my spontaneous choices, the ones that, you know, come off right off the bat, like especially when it has to do with money and work, like, you know, you'll make the wrong decision sometimes when you think too fast on things, right? So I just need to kind of stay comfortable, be happy with where I am, right, but not lose sight on that end goal. And that's what I'm doing right now.
Well, that's the big difference, is like moving from this impulsive decision making to, you know, I can make a lot of money working back at the mines. Done. I'm already there. I'm not even going to bounce this off anybody. I'm already there, right? And not thinking about the implications, or, you know, whether you're going to have a strong, what's the word I'm looking for? Community out there.
Yeah,
right?
Which I know I won't.
And that's just being honest with yourself.
Yeah, and it's not that like I'm saying I'm going to be surrounded by a bunch of bad people, but like right now I'm surrounded by a bunch of like-minded people, if that makes sense. You know, a bunch of people that have been through what I've been through.
Yeah.
And I'm very comfortable here, and I know where I go next, I'm not going to be comfortable or as comfortable, right? I'm going to be back into an environment where there will be drugs.
Partying.
Well, there'll be partying. There'll be miserable people. I'll have a very structured work life again, you know, big expectations to get things done at work. And yeah, to be honest, and being completely honest, like I'm not even so stressed out about the work part about it. I'm just stressed out about like life's gonna be different. Right now, like I'm used to what's going on. Right, that's a big change.
Yeah.
And I learned this a couple months ago. One of the scariest things for me is change. Like change is just a scary thing.
Yeah, change is inevitable, right? In
Yeah.
life, it's inevitable, but it sucks. Nobody wants change,
No.
right? Especially men. Like I find a lot of men don't like change.
And that kind of actually gives me my first question I want to ask you. What's your biggest fear, bro? Like, and that's such a
Right now,
What is your biggest fear? What is the thing you fear most?
yeah. Well, that changes, right?
Yeah.
Right now, probably never getting out of the financial hole that I put myself in through using and drinking. So then I would ask myself, like, what is that fear, right? So if I double click on that and examine it more and pull the thread on it, it's like the fear of failure is a part of that, right?
Yeah.
The fear of not even financial insecurity, but just like never having enough money to be comfortable is
Yeah.
always kind of in the background. This financial insecurity, but it's like a fear of failure. Essentially, it comes down to like failure, and a lot of people don't think that that's failure, right? But
Yeah.
and I don't like to think that it is either. But
Yeah, I was actually speaking to my mother about this yesterday. I think it was. We were talking, and I was getting on about how like I'm happy and stuff like that, right? And I was like, money doesn't buy happiness per se. It doesn't, but it gives you that feeling of being comfortable.
freedom,
Because I think we live in a world right now where everyone's so worried about tomorrow. Everyone's so worried about tomorrow, whether that's their bills, whether that's how they're going to afford to buy food, whether that's they're thinking about what, they want to buy something. I feel like tomorrow is the biggest thing that everyone's worried about. When I have money, I'm not so worried about tomorrow. I'm like,
yeah,
right? It's a horrible thing. And I mean, I'm not going to get too political right now, but like our country that we live in Canada currently is very expensive to live in, right? If I'm fucking good like that, it's crazy how expensive it is to live here,
but
and-
having good finances gives you that freedom to like make mistakes,
and just be comfortable, man.
Yeah.
Like, be honest. Like, how much time have you been thinking about money lately? A lot of time.
Yeah, a lot.
Right? And if you weren't thinking about money, what would you be thinking of? Maybe something more positive, right? So it's just like, oh, man, money is just. I know there's lots of things about money, but one of the things I hear about all the time is money rules the world, and it really does, man. Money rules this world. Like, if you have money, you can do certain things you can't do when you don't have money.
Yeah.
Right? And it's just the hard truth about it. Like, you don't have to make your whole world money, but to a certain point, like, you can say money doesn't buy happiness, but bro, you need money,
Yeah.
And like, I love to be as positive as I can on this channel, but like, money is an important thing. It's a very important thing. It's like, you want to be healthy and eat good food, well, you have to buy expensive food to be healthy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You want to have a car so you can get from point A to point B, or even if you don't have a car and you want to take like public transit or taxi, that money.
Mm-hmm.
Everything costs money. There's not one thing that I've done in my entire life that didn't cost money. That's not just like, it always goes back to money. Like, well, the time you spent with your family. Well, I went to my parents' house for supper. That costed money. Everything costs. I can't think of a certain situation that didn't cost money, man.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I think I think back to like the best times I've had in my life. A lot of them have been on vacation, and that cost a lot of money.
Yeah,
right?
man.
But it was worth it, My wife showed me that. Like, my wife showed me that, spending money on going places is worth it in the long run. Because I used to get so caught up, and we went to Hawaii one time, and we took this helicopter ride, and she had her feet dangling out of the, like, it was the most amazing thing in the world. Her feet were dangling out of the helicopter. We were over Kauai in Hawaii.
that's beautiful, bro.
And it was like Jurassic Park, like, and it was so expensive to do that. And I remember there was a moment where I was like, man, that was really expensive. I kind of regret that. And it instantly, like, as soon as we were done that trip, it was like fully, superseded by the thought of money is like a tool. It comes and goes. And some days you have it and some days you don't. Some years you have it and some years you don't, right? But it comes and goes. You can't keep it. You can't take it to the grave with you. I will never forget that trip when we went to Hawaii. Right? It was like some of the best memories of my life. You know what I mean? They were amazing. Like there was just, it was just, I would never have done that if it wasn't for her. And I just trusted her. Right. And that's goes back to this recovery thing too, where it's like, maybe I don't know the best answer for everything. You know, maybe I should listen to somebody else and just trust the process and trust her. And I'm happy I did, because it was an amazing experience. Right.
Yeah. Another question here that I'm going to ask you. It says that, like, what advice would you give to someone who wants to pursue a career that's like similar to yours? And when I hear that question, I think about like what we're doing right now. And I was someone who, like, from a young age, like at the age of like 11 and 12, I was like, had some friends. We were like making YouTube videos, like hockey videos. There is this embarrassing video on the internet, Anthony, that I'll show you after this. It's called Top 10 Road Hockey Hits.
And you're in it?
I'm in it. I start off the video, me and my friend, we have our phone pointed at us, and we're like, welcome to Top 10 Road Hockey Hits. And dude, in high school, oh man, it was everywhere after a while. But anyways, I always wanted to do it. I don't know, I don't think I had like the confidence to like just get in front of a camera, especially being in a community.
It's not easy, yeah.
Where everyone knows you, right? And like, even I won't lie, it's a lot easier doing it here, right? But the thing is that like, it's kind of like, I don't like the word say take a chance, but that's kind of what it is. Just take a chance, right? Because like, I never actually tried doing a podcast until I did it with you, and then I was like, oh my goodness, I love this.
It's pretty amazing to talk about something. I mean, we talked about it in rehab like a lot, right?
A lot, man.
And you know how many ideas I've had where I've never followed through on them, and it's like you never know what could have happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you put in a little bit of work, and then you stick with it. And I don't really care if this does well or not, right? Like, I'm having fun doing it. Yeah. And I've had enough good feedback from people saying, hey, we're happy that you're doing well.
Yeah.
That's all I need to hear, man. Like, people are rooting for me, you know?
But if I could give you advice, man, just don't. And this is one of those ones that's easier said than done. But don't let. Who cares what people think?
Yeah.
Who cares
what other people think of me is none of my business.
You know, and again, like, for me, I was in a community with like so little people, like 1,500 people. So like, I really care what people think, because I'm going to see them at the gas station tomorrow. I'm going to see them at work tomorrow. I'm going to see them at the grocery store tomorrow. Yeah. But here, it literally living in Toronto has done for me is allowed me to be myself. Like, it's allowed me to be myself.
It also made you, and I'm projecting here. Maybe I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong. Made you realize like how small and, you know, insignificant you really are in the grand scheme of things. You know, because there's so many people here.
So many people
that it's
different
like
cultures, races, everything, man.
Maybe I'm not that important.
But no, literally.
I have to be told that to myself.
Literally,
you know?
Man. Literally.
It's like when you go outside and look at the stars and you're like, holy shit. Like, the world is so much bigger than me and my problems. And poor me and, you know.
And it's so, so easy to get caught up in that crap. But another question I want to ask you. I'm just firing questions away at you right now, but I got lots of stuff in my mind.
I like questions.
What do you think the biggest resource that has helped you? Like, the biggest resource, whether that's a person, whether that's whatever it is. What's helped you think, the most in recent times? Like, in the last 3-4 months, what's helped you?
Yeah, people in recovery, definitely, but people that are further along than me, right? Because it reminds me that I'm just like them, and I can be happy just like them. You know, when you see someone that's, and you've seen it, I know you have. You've seen that guy, like Jay's an example. He just looks like he's not worried, right? Like, life is like, okay. Things don't bother him like they bother us sometimes, right? And it's like, I want that, you know? And I've had that before. I've had it where people come to me and they're like, man, you're so positive about everything all the time. And it just comes with time, right? It comes with time and practicing, you know, the principles of living a good life and being a good person, honesty, you know, open-mindedness, willingness, brotherly love. What's another one? Service, right? All these things that, you know, certain groups of people teach and programs teach to, if I just try to be a better person today, like, things work out. You know what I mean? Right? Like, things work out. What about you?
I mean, so many different things have helped me, but the biggest resource for, like, if I could take back this all 5 months and see like what's helped me the most, I'd honestly have to say like getting counseling. Because like that's
Professional help, yeah.
professional help, right? Because that's something I'd never done before.
That's a good one, yeah.
And what I realized about myself that I did for so long since I've been a kid was I did things to like validate myself. You know, try and be funny, try and wear nice clothes, or try and do certain things at parties or whatever it was. I just wanted to feel cool, right?
Be accepted by
right?
the masses.
And when I realized, like, and again, this was all from professional help. Lots of sessions, lots of asking questions to me, lots of digging, lots of talking about uncomfortable things, right? Because like that's not something you want to tell another guy. Like, you know, I did that so I could feel cool, right? That's a pretty crappy thing to admit.
Yeah.
But I think that once I did that, and once I truly realized, like, you know, like, you don't really love yourself like you think you do, buddy. You know. Because once you lie to yourself so much, you actually start to believe your own lies. And that's what happened to me. But once I started to like accept myself for who I was and see who I really was, that helped me so much. Because like, I think, man, you see me, we see each other all the time, Anthony. But like, genuinely, I'm a pretty happy guy. You know what I mean? Like, I'm in a pretty good, pretty hippity hop mood all the time. And that's honestly just because like, not because things aren't like I still run into things multiple times a day that I'm not enjoying, but like I just truly am just like happy with like myself now, right? Like I don't need to like be with a woman or need to, you know, have a pocket full of cash, although those things really do help me. You know, I'm just happy like when I look in the mirror now, and not because I think I'm this big stud either, just because I'm like, you know, I'm happy with what I see. I'm happy with what I'm doing in life right now. You know what I mean? I'm not disappointing anybody. And like, those are all real things. Like, whereas like drugs, fake acting for people, that's all fake stuff and lies. You know what I mean? That truly I'd go home every single night of my life after doing this. And clearly I wasn't happy with myself. That's why I would do drugs.
Yeah.
You know, but I think that was the biggest thing that's helped me is just like learning to love myself again.
In your addiction.
Yeah, but like still like that asshole, dirty, you know, cocky, arrogant attitude comes out.
Get my way.
In my way, all about me kind of thing. That still comes out all the time, man. But like I just didn't realize it before. So now at least I can catch it now, right? But dude, that's helped me so much. Like I like genuinely like to be nice to people.
Yeah.
Whether that's going into a coffee shop and seeing someone, hey, how's it going? You know, talking to someone, just like not putting everybody down either. You know.
Yeah, it feels good to.
It does
bring people up, right?
It does.
As they say.
Something that I've been thinking about lots too, and it actually kind of stems back from when we were talking about social media the other day. What do you like? Like, let's compare like eras. Like, let's compare times.
What do you mean?
Like, let's talk about like, what do you think your life would have been like 30 years ago if you were the same age? That's a pretty wide blown question.
What year? So 30 years ago would have been like
1980s. Anthony,
I mean, I'm 33 years old. So.
Hair slicked back.
In the 80s?
In the 80s.
Well, I mean, I would have done a lot of coke and probably wouldn't have been as paranoid and, you know, delusional.
Cocaine would have been a little bit better back then.
Yeah, the cocaine would have been better back then. So, you know, I wouldn't have been paranoid and crazy. Maybe a little bit, but I don't know. I just always think about Scarface, the movie Scarface, and you got to get what does he say? Women, then you got to get the money, then you get the power. You know? Like.
But that's still how it is nowadays, man.
Yeah, I used to watch that movie and like want to be so like I loved doing drugs when I would watch that movie, and it was so pathetic. But I think media in general has a big influence on the drug culture. Have you ever seen a movie like Trainspotting or any of those like heroin movies, Basketball Diaries or anything like that? They do a good job like really portraying how hard heroin addiction is. And if you ever get a chance, watch those movies because they do a really good job like showing the withdrawal and the craziness and, you know, the things that we do. Let me ask you this. This is popping into my head right now. What's the craziest thing you've done to get a fix?
Ooh.
Or money?
Yo. This is something I'm not too proud of.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to...
But it's okay.
I realize that this could be a very R-rated answer.
Okay. That's okay. It's okay. Well, I mean, like, I got to the point where I was, like, selling my stuff and stuff for drugs. But one thing, man, that, like, still I think about to this day is one time, bro, I was just jonesing to get high. No money, jonesing. And my grandparents, they're like old-fashioned people, right? Like they don't know how to. Like my grandma doesn't know how to do online banking or none of that stuff. So she still writes checks lots. And this is I don't really know how to like. And there's lots of way of like frauding money into bank machines and stuff. But like I generally didn't know how to do that. But I googled like how I didn't even know how to write a check. So I remember this. I found my grandma's checkbook. Right, I was at my grandma's house, and I was probably there trying to ask for money. That's the reason I was probably there.
In the first place, yeah.
Right. So, I was looking through her drawers, and I found her checkbook, and I googled how to write a check. So, I found a picture on Google Images. I copied that to a piece of paper. I put her name on it. I went to the bank. It's like a $200 check. Checked it into my bank account, and it went through. It went through, bro. That night, I got $200. I got my drugs, got high, and then the next day, it was like a few days later. So, like again, I'm from a small town. Everyone knows each other. The bank people know me, right? But I went to the ATM machine and did it because it was at night, and it took it right away. Anyway, so the lady who I know, shout out Amanda if you're watching this. She calls my grandma a bunch of times, right? Man. She called like 5 times, and my grandma didn't answer the phone. And my grandma, she's like, this is sad. My grandma not knew, but she thought something was up with me because like the bank never calls. So like my grandma had already put like 1, 2, and 3 together, and she calls me, and she was like, yeah, she calls me. She's like, hey, can I come see you and talk to you? She comes to my house, and she's like, hey, like, did you like steal money from me or something? Because the bank is like blowing my phone up. And I say, no. And then the next day she come back because she had heard like, hey, Caleb wrote a check in your name into her bank account. And the reason, I think I dated it wrong. I did something wrong on the check.
Of course.
Like an idiot.
Yeah.
And, I deserved to get caught. And it was embarrassing. I had to go into the bank with my grandma because they frauded my account.
Wow. So you did get caught, yeah.
I did get caught. They put like fraud lock on my account so I couldn't like money, couldn't do nothing, right? So yeah, I had to go to the bank, like a real proud grandson that day, and to go out what happened, right?
Yeah.
And
that's that walk of shame.
Right? What's the crazy?
Well, you hope that, and I'll get into it because I know exactly what my it hasn't changed for a long time. But that walk you would think would do and stop using it, right? Man. But that's what this does, Caleb. It's not at big of a deal. You stole a bit of money. What's the big deal?
Yeah.
Like let's just get high again. It'll never come back. I'll never have to think about this again.
Because it's not like $20 really. It wasn't like you put my grandparents in a financial.
Yeah, but
I also went to my grandparents' house, and I such as grandparents. I'm the best. And I went there. No, something inside of me just not control at all.
Yeah.
So if I had a little bit of control, I would not do that.
Yeah. Self-control. This is a disease, and I was of the belief that I'm responsible for the first one, but after that, I have a choice in the matter. Right? That's the way I've experienced it, anyways.
Yeah.
But for me, mine's easy, and I made amends to my parents, shortly after for doing this. But I was with one, and we're same thing. I can relate a lot to that. Like I ran out of money. We were going to a music festival. It was Digital Dreams, I think it was called. This was probably like 12 years ago, and I had no money for Coke, right? And MDMA back then. We were doing Molly for all you Gen Z people. And I got this great idea. I used to go through the drawers all the time, man. Like that was, I'm not really ashamed of it now because I've accepted it and moved on, and shame doesn't serve me around it. But I was going through the drawers one day, and I was so desperate. There was no more cash, right? I used to, right? I've taken cash from my sister. I've taken cash from my parents, my grandparents, same thing. But I came across a bunch of jewelry, right? And I went to the gold store, and I was so gun ho. But he was in the he's like, "Yo, man, you sure about this? Like that's a lot of jewelry." And I was like, "Yeah, don't worry about it. They're never gonna know." Like I didn't even think twice. And this goes back to our impulse thing. This is my thought process then, and when an actual addiction, nothing changes. This is a good idea. I'm gonna get high out of it. I'm not think about it. Tomorrow's Anthony will worry about it. Right? I'm not gonna. This isn't a problem today. I'll deal with it tomorrow. I'll sweep it under the rug. That was my motto, man. I used to sweep everything under the rug until there was this huge pile of shit that I had to deal with the next day. So I went into the store, and then the important thing is it was baptism jewelry, right? And people are Christian and Catholic. That's like that stuff's not replaceable. So I never forget this. The guy looked at me and he's like, "Are you sure?" Like he took my ID. Like, yeah, man. I didn't even think twice. I was like, yeah, whatever. I got $100 out of it, right up my nose, right in that weekend, and I felt so shitty about it that when I came back from rehab that first time, I met with my parents, my counselor, and I told them. And I remember my dad wanted to kick my ass. Like, he was so mad.
That's how your dad found out?
Well, yeah, I told him. Yeah. They didn't find out until I told them, right? And I made amends because I was told to do that, and I wanted to do it. And it was like the most rewarding thing in the world, right? They were just happy at the end of the day. They were mad at first, don't get me wrong, but they were happy that their son was back, you know? And that I was doing well and I was trying, you know, that I was manning up for my mistakes, right? Like I try to do that today. I try to own my shit today. You know, when I do things right? It's not easy to get right wrongs.
When you were like using like, I'm gonna go back to like, so your last time, were you talking to your mom and dad every day?
No.
Because I get close with you.
Yeah, no.
No?
No.
The reason
I was ignoring the phone calls. Yeah, no.
So the reason I asked that is like I genuinely got to a point where I wasn't talking to my family very much. Like a week until I needed something, I would text my mother. You know,
like every day, man, I see you.
Distant family too, like aunts, uncle, my cousins, right? And like it's funny because my mom had texted me a few hours ago, or about an hour ago. She said, "Hey, how was your day?" Right, and when I would used to get a text like that for like my mom, and I knew my.
How dare you?
No, but not even that. My mom, like, let's say something crazy would happen, like, you know, Caleb messed up and, you know, got caught doing something stupid. My mom would like text me like, "Hey, how's it going?" You know, because she knew how
walking on eggshells. Yeah, right.
Yeah. But now she texted me and asked me how my day was. I'm like, wow, like I called her right away. I didn't even text her back. It is, man. So many beautiful things have happened in the last 5 months. Like so many great things have happened. But I think genuinely, the top three things, man, is just like, no, it's number one for sure. Family, not top three, but like, man,
getting the family back.
It's crazy. It's incredible because like I took it for granted so heavily, right? And like I'm me and my younger brother who's he's only 16 months younger than me. We have three younger cousins, quite a bit younger, an 11-year-old, I think 7 and 6 or 6 and 5, I think they are. And they look up to us so much, man.
Yeah.
Like so much.
Yeah.
Like my youngest cousin Hudson, he's 5, and like, dude, the kid like he adores me, man. And he always wanted me to go for bike rides with him and hang out with him, and like I would do it, and then it got to a point where I wasn't spending any time around him, and I found out when I got into treatment that because like they completely stopped like being allowed around me, and I've told you this one before, but this is something that still just hits me to like, you know, it's sad. My cousin, so my aunt was part of the whole family thing when they were like talking to interventionists and stuff about me getting help, and the interventionist said to my family like, hey, like if Caleb had a molecule of fentanyl on him and one of the kids touched like his shirt and ingested it, your kid can die.
Yeah, that's scary. Yeah.
So they didn't come around me anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like 5 months isn't a long time, Anthony. But in this 5 months, bro, like there's a lot of things I haven't gone back yet. But like the family thing, because family is so forgiving, that's the best thing that I've got to experience. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but let me ask you this though. At the same time, what's the longest amount of time you've been sober before this?
Yeah,
like a day,
like
maybe.
A day, man. Like literally.
So it is a long time. You know, don't kid yourself, right? Some people out there can't even imagine 1 hour. Yeah. I couldn't. I couldn't even imagine 1 hour going sober.
No.
Right. But it's again. This comes back to this like human thing of like adapting to the surroundings. Like I'm sober now. 5 months, yeah, but it's not a year. Yeah. You know, it's like this comparison thing that we always do.
Yeah.
And I'm guilty of it too, man. It's like we take so much for granted. Like, no, man, 5 months is a long time.
What's your saying that you say all the time about comparison?
Comparison is the thief of joy.
It's so true, man.
If I'm focused on what I don't have, I am not happy. I'm resentful. I hate you. I don't want to be around you. I'm miserable. I was in that state today. You know, when I was thinking about my money problems. I was comparing myself to my old self, like where I was even, you know, a year ago. I had money. I didn't have credit card debt. I didn't have financial debt. Well, dummy, you know, you did this. Nobody put you in the financial debt, and you're going to get out of it, you know, with help. Not on my own.
And one thing that I said this, I was thinking about this earlier when we were speaking together, and I think this goes out there for anyone, whether you're going through drug addiction or whatever it is. I feel like when someone goes through something, like whether that's like, you know, breaking up with your partner or like some shitty things are happening at work or whatever shit you're going through. Sometimes when these things happen, you need to sit in your own shit and just kind of sit in it and think about it. And, this will pass. That feeling will pass.
This too shall pass.
Right?
Yeah.
Because when you get in these situations, bro, where things aren't going good, you're instantly, okay, how can I fix this? How can I fix this? How can I fix this? Right?
So true. The quick fix. Because we know how to do that.
And that doesn't always mean drugs. For us, it meant drugs. But for some people, it's like, you break up, okay, partner, new girlfriend, boyfriend right away.
Or a tub of ice cream.
Or like, gonna take the first job I get, kind of thing, right? Sometimes you just need to sit in it, bro. Feel it out,
and acknowledge it.
Acknowledge it, man. See what you did in it to get you there. A, see what you can do to make it better. Yeah. B, right, and just get through it, man.
But not try to control it and get out of it right now. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, because it's impossible.
It's impossible, man. There's no quick fix. To be honest, the quickest fix is drugs.
Yeah,
and that's the shittiest one. Boys.
And how did that work for you? Yeah, not so good. Cool, man. Yeah.
All right, let's bang this off with one last question.
Yeah.
Here, hold on. Let me go through another question.
I think we went dead on the TikTok. I don't know what happened over there.
Yeah. Let's talk about this. So I think, and
I'm
moving back home. He's taking the next big step, man, and
it is a big step.
It's a huge step, and I'm just proud of you, man.
Thanks, buddy.
I'm proud of you because I know you. You're dealing with stuff right now, but even when I first met you, you were dealing with certain things, and we talked about it every single night because he was my roommate. And to see where you come from, and right now, man, you've taken some big steps.
Thanks, buddy.
And one of my things about you is you don't hide your emotions. For me, sometimes I have emotions like that, throw dirt on it kind of attitude, but you'll I'll give you an example. For anyone watching, this guy I was trying to call him this morning and he wasn't answering me. And he said, "Yo, I'm just taking it personal, man. I need to get through some stuff in my head." And that takes that's not easy to just say, even though I'm your boy, and you still said that to me. I was like, all right, I gave you your space.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that you acknowledge what's going on.
Thanks,
and you don't, because if you don't, time builds up and it only gets worse. But where I was with this is saying I'm proud of you.
Thanks.
But we're gonna try and get on a real upload schedule here. Mm-hmm. We just started. This is only our 4th podcast. We just wanted to kind of get some stuff out there, get a feel for this because we're new to this, man. But things have been going genuinely good.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think if we try and get 2 out a week, you know what I mean? He's going to be downtown now, and I'm up more in the upper part of Toronto. So we're gonna try and get 2 videos out a week, and there's a possibility that we're going to be filming in some different places as well. And we're going to get some guest speakers on coming up real soon.
Yeah, we got to get that going for sure. I'm looking forward to that. We have a 3rd microphone now.
Yeah.
Before we close, I do want to say, the common theme between both of us, and I appreciate you saying that because I need to hear that stuff too, right? You've come a long way too. And the thing I see with you, and I see it myself too, but I see it with you, and it inspires me, is this resilience and taking action no matter how you feel.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this right now, but I'm going to do it anyways. Mm-hmm. And that goes with anything. Right? Going to the gym, reaching out to a friend. Sometimes you grit your teeth and you just do it, mm-hmm. But you don't sit in your shit for too long. Yeah. You move on. And a perfect example, as you were saying that, I was thinking, I did not want to come here to this sober house for a long time. I did not want to do things differently this time. But the way I was doing before did not work. I've proven that many times. Yeah. So it's time to start waiting the white flag and move on. Yeah. Do things different this time. Yeah. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Man. We did that. We were using it every day. It'll be different this time. I'll control it this time. It won't be that bad. I'll only spend this much. I'll only drink this much. Insanity. So yeah. Let's close it with that. Any last thoughts?
Just want to say thanks again for all the love, man. It means a lot to us. You know what I mean? Because we talked about earlier, it wasn't insanely hard to get out there and do this stuff, but there was always things in the back of my mind. What do you think? Whatever. How's it gonna look? Post, but genuinely, this is one of the better decisions I've made so far since I've been sober. I'm so happy to do this, man.
Yeah. Consistency is the key now.
Yeah. So, yeah, we're gonna try to ourselves on a schedule or Instagram.